welcome back. As you can see, I'm still in a hat because I still haven't had time to do my hair. One of my dogs had a severe allergy flare-up, and I had to immediately send her to the vet, and now she needs to be taken care of. My children are top priority. Someone just moved to the lot next to mine, and they were so nice. They got me this posh tea. It's very posh. I hope you got yourself a drink. Gin, tonic, tea, coffee, water. So today I just wanted to talk about my Buddha. I was searching for years and years and years for the perfect Buddha head, Buddha sculpture or painting. And every time I saw one, I'd go, I don't know. I just couldn't find the right one. When you search for a Buddha's face, you want to know what's going on inside. What are you thinking? What are you feeling? And to be honest, some of them have been pretty scary, Some of them have looked quite sinister to me, and some of them downright sleazy. Like they're like stripping you down with their eyes. So, I've seen a lot of Buddha heads, but one day I was traveling in rural Cambodia, and I saw a row of Buddha heads on a shelf. And this guy who was selling it, he wasn't just a seller. He made them with his own hands. And this guy was just, 21 years old. But he had such a glow around him, such a glow of contentment and peace. So I looked at all the Buddha heads, and this one really spoke to me. Well, I could have got any of those 15 to... Anyway, I got him because he spoke to me. There was something inside that made me feel the love and the peace. One day I was thinking to myself, you know how people like to say you should be grateful, you should count your blessings? And I was thinking, Buddha gave up his lavish lifestyle in a palace with like a gazillion servants, feeding him and drawing his bath and giving him facials and manicures and pedicures. And he gave up his title as a prince. God, he must have been the most ungrateful human being that ever lived. And this is why I completely disagree with people when they say you should be grateful and count your blessings, especially when you're unhappy. When you're unhappy, that is the worst thing that people can say to you. Because on top of your unhappiness, you're now feeling guilty that you're ungrateful. And what about people who don't want to live? Telling them something like, be grateful that you wake up every morning healthy and able to breathe. They don't want to breathe. So people who say things like that are doing a great disservice. And sometimes they can make things worse for you. Because in truth, no external thing, whether you're counting your blessings or being ungrateful for what you have, no external thing or circumstance can truly make you happy. They're transient. If you start counting your blessings, what if your blessings start to dwindle? Then what? Don't listen to these people who say, count your blessings and you're so lucky to have what you have. They don't listen to you. They're just babbling on generically about how great life is. Doesn't that make you feel worse? That not only are you unhappy, you're now ungrateful. And you should be grateful. And you should count your blessings. Look, I'm not being a pessimistic bitch, okay? I'm just saying that to be happy and to love yourself, you gotta stop listening to these people, man. But listen to yourself. If you're in pain, feel it. If you're suffering, feel it. Don't listen to toxic positivity from people who say, oh look, at least you're not in a war-torn country. At least you're not in poverty. Of course we're not. We live in the first world. We have first world problems. That's a fact. So why should we compare to people suffering in third world country, in war countries? Why should we compare to them? We feel for them because we have compassion and we try to help as much as we can. because we have compassion. But we're not going to go comparing ourselves to them, because what that means is that some poor person has to suffer for you to feel better about yourself. We're just using them to feel better about ourselves. Sometimes I hear people coming back from their holiday, and when I ask them, hey, how was it? And they say, when we come home, we realize how lucky we are. And to be honest, it irks me when they say that. What do you mean you come back and you realize how lucky you are when you compare yourself to those people in the third world countries that you went on holiday to? Is that what they learned? Is that their take on it? Because for me, it's not, ew, oh, you poor filthy person. You make me so happy that I am better off, that I have more than you. I have air conditioning and you don't have it. For me, when I see those people struggling, I want to know, what gives you so much strength? So what makes you so resilient and so at peace with what little you have? I am not romanticizing poverty, but you know what I mean? It's the strength and resilience and the good-heartedness of these people that despite everything, they are still nice, they're still kind. And that is what I find admirable. That was what solo traveling did for me. I always traveled alone because I didn't know at the beginning. I traveled alone because people didn't like the places that I wanted to go to. But I soon found that solo travel means you don't have a companion to talk to who know your history, whom you can talk about work and, talk about your life, and not really absorbing everything in another country, a different culture, different way of life. So without a travel companion, without taking photos, without posting on Instagram, and without the luxury of a 5-star resort, you really begin to feel a lot more. And you kind of, in a strange way, connect and relate to the local people, even if your lifestyles are so different, because there's something that is just basic human values that we all share. I know it sounds like such a cliche, but once we're not bothered about comfort, where we stay, what we eat, do we look good enough to post on Instagram? How many changes of clothing do we make? Once we don't do that, we immerse ourselves into a place that is not our comfort zone. And every time we're not in our comfort zone, we learn something. We realize something. And solo travel has taught me so much about myself. So I think gratitude is overrated. There's nothing wrong with, gratitude is great. Real gratitude is great, but not when someone tells you to be grateful. You cannot just flick a switch and be grateful. You cannot. Gratitude is not something that you do. It's not an action. Gratitude comes naturally when you heal yourself. I am so grateful for everything that I have. I was never grateful before, even though when I had a lot more than I do now. Now, after a shower, I feel so grateful. I thank the shower. I thank the air conditioning. I thank the tap. I thank my flowers and the trees and the birds. I am constantly thanking everything all day long. Not because I make myself do it, but because I am grateful. Yeah, sure. 1 month the electricity bill might be quite high, and so I stopped using the air conditioner as much. But that brings another set of benefits. It means I have to tolerate the heat. And in tolerating the heat, I learn more about myself. I go to another level of self-acceptance, of tolerance, of accepting what is. I'm not encouraging austerity. I'm not saying that we should suffer for the sake of suffering. All I'm saying is that when we are flexible, when we're flexible, then we can enjoy what we have more, and yet if we lose them, we're not fazed. It doesn't matter because we've learned to tolerate discomfort. gratitude with the simplest things come from, it's quite simple. It comes from the enjoyment of it, and enjoyment of anything requires us to be in the moment. The moment you switch on the air conditioner, you feel the coolness of the air. That's a pretty big thing. When you're having a shower after a hot day, it's such a wonderful experience. But if we were thinking, it spoils the experience, you see? So it comes back to being in the moment. It comes back to balance. Buddha made a mistake when he left his luxurious and privileged life. He made himself suffer. He fasted for, 30 days, and he starved himself, and then he ate a little bit, because he found that there is no salvation to be found in pure suffering. There is no salvation to be found in luxury, but it's the middle path, and it's that balance that keeps us grounded. I have no qualms about abundance. I have no qualms about having a lot of money, a lot of comfort, but not when we're not ready for it. That's when it's harmful. When we're not ready for it, we're held hostage. But once we heal ourselves, you can enjoy all the money you want, all the abundance you want, because you'll still be grounded. And the possibility of losing everything is no big deal to you. No big deal. So the next time someone says to you, be grateful, count your blessings, blah, 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 you know what to do, yeah? You send them this video, okay? Okay.